Hello and welcome to this SwiftUI stroke Swift programming language video. My name is David Thorne. In this video I'm going to show you how you can download a whole bunch of data. You can then save it to the caches directory on that one sandboxed inside of the sandboxed area on the iPhone, and then continue with your app. So it can be that your application requires to download a considerable amount of information before it can display the actual main content, all right? And you need to utilize the cache directory, and you want to be able to do this in as parallel as possible, so as quick as possible. So you want to use as many threads as possible. Now, to do this exercise, we're going to take the Unsplash API. I've written a small package for it, and we're going to download the first 2 pages of that one run request. So, about 10-20 pictures, and then we're going to save it to the cache directory. And then once we've downloaded those 20 images, that's when we're going to display those images. And after that, you could then download the third page through like infinite scroll or whatever. But your prerequisites for your application from your project manager, your product owner, is that when the app launches for the first time, it will download the first 2 pages of the content from Unsplash, and it will display them, and then it will download it in the future, all right? But it should always have at least the first 2 pages on the device, whether you've got internet or not, connection or not, all right? So this is what your task is to do. So we have the my Unsplash package here, which basically has all of the different models in it, and just a simple get publishers. You see here, get Unsplash resources file here. All right, you need a access key for it. That is saved with inside of the schema. I'm not going to show you it, but the task here is basically just to list out a small thumbnail and also the photo ID, and that's it. All right, and if I've managed to, and in the editing, hopefully I'll place an image on the screen right now to show you what it looks like and how it works. With that said, we've got a couple of tasks that we need to do. All right, so first of all, we only want to populate this one screen once we have all of the images. All right, so this content view is going to be our final display. Okay, otherwise we're going to need say like a download manager. All right, and this is going to need to be an observable object, and inside of this we can say state object is then we'll just say manager and download manager here. And with inside of our init, we can say then manager is equal to state objects, and we can do init here. So now we know that we've got always going to have this download manager, and we'll just do an init here as well. So the first task is to download requests, right? Download pages here, and once we've downloaded the pages, we then need to download image, all right, image data. And once we download the image data, we need to cache image data, all right. And these are the different tasks that we do. So first of all, we need to download the pages of the request, all right. And inside of this, we're now going to need combine. Right, and we're also going to need my Unsplashed library here. Okay, so download pages requires us to say get Unsplash resources here for photos. All right, and we're going to say per page, and we're just going to say 20. All right, I'm pretty certain it's 10 per page, and we're going to say per page is 20. So we're going to do it in one request. We're going to receive it on the run loop main, and we're going to then sync the completion handler. For this example, we're just going to ignore it. We're going to assume that there were no errors. All right, and inside of this, then we're going to get items first of all, and these items are going to be of type property, an array of photos, but it's optional. Whoops. It's optional, and we need to store this inside of cancelable here. All right. So once we do this, we'll just say store and then in the cancelable. Now, with inside of the receive value, we know we've got some items. It can be nil. It can be nil. So we're going to have to check that it is. And if it is, we're just going to say a return, and we're going to ignore it for this one example. All right. So we've now got download image data, and here this is going to need to have a photo here. All right. So for we need to have photos here. For photos in a photo, we'll now pass this on to download image data for this one, a photo. And we're going to need to say self here too. Right, so this is then going to concern itself with downloading the image data. The next thing that we want to have is the place to cache the files, all right? And up here we're going to say cache path, and this is going to be a string. And inside of this we can say cache path, and this is going to be file manager, default, URLs, and then the caches directory, and it's going to be on the user domain mask and first, and we are going to use the force unwrap for this. You shouldn't, but I'm going to use it anyway. And then we're going to say path, and then we're going to put a / at the end of it as well. So we just got a cache path string here. All right. So once we've got this one download image, we need to check to see whether or not this one image exists or not. And if it does exist, then we're already happy. All right. Well, to do that, we are going to need the file manager. So we can just say here file manager and then default, which means we can remove that there. And now inside of this, we want to say if file exists, right? And we're going to say node path here because we need to build each node path. And this is going to go forward if it doesn't exist. And if it does exist, then we know that the node path already exists. So here we can say hit, for example, and inside of this we'll say then photo ID. We'll say that we hit that one, and we've already got a cache of it. All right, and the node path is going to be the cache path, and then the photo ID. Okay, so if we move forward from this, we know that we don't have this one image data, which means that we're going to have to download it, all right? And we are going to use the URL session data task for URL, which returns a publisher, all right? And inside of this, we're going to then say photo, and this is then going to be URLs. And we will just say thumb, just for the sake of speeding this up, right? We would use a bit bigger one, but just for the sake of having this request go through a little bit faster, I've got pretty good internet connection, so it should be pretty fast anyway. And we'll say receive on run loop main once again, and then we'll say sync. We'll ignore the error for this once again, and then we're going to say response here. And we have our data in this response, all right? And we will store this with inside of our cancelable here. Okay, so now that we have this one data, the next task we've got to do is we need to cache this data, all right? And we'll do that by putting it in a try catch block. And we can just say data right to URL. Now, we have this node path already, and this is where we're going to get the URL from. And it's going to say file path for node path. This is where we want to save it, and this could throw. And if we have this saved now, we can say miss, for example, and then also say the photo ID. All right, so we know, and we're going to ignore the error. All right, we can handle errors elsewhere. Okay, so this now downloads the pages. So it comes here, ignores the error here as well. Ignore error here as well. We loop through the photos. We download the image data, and if we've got a hit, we get a hit. Otherwise, we download the information. And okay, well this is then, let's just say this will be data here, right? And we can move this now into this one method. And rather than coming here, we can say self cache image data here, and to then URL. All right, and we can place that there. And for photo, happy days. So, and this is going to say to URL and string, and we wanted node. Oh, we wanted file path for URL is node path, and then we'll say for photo. All right, so this is going to save the information for us. It's pretty simple, but this keeps the information keeps each function as small as possible, and we can test this. All right, we don't need any URL session to test this. We can just take the data, the URL where it needs to be saved, and this is then for the photo itself. And we write it to the URL, and if we get an error, we get an error. All right. So now we have the download image. We come here, we have a hit for it, we get it, and we then download the image. It comes here, and we come to cache image, and then we're going to cache it. Right, we need some form of mechanism now to inform the view that we have new images. And this is where we can come to a published, right? And this can be then a file URLs. Let's just say file URLs. And this can be then a URL. We'll just say string, make it a bit more fun. And this will be like this. And because we are using lots of background tasks here, etc., I'm not 100% happy that this is going to happen without any race conditions. All right, so we're going to make a label here, and this is going to be that label for this one, Q. Download manager, right? And this is going to be this is not going to be concurrent. This is going to be serial, all right? Because what we want to do here is we want to be able to write to this one file URLs, and we're going to do this with inside of here, and here, all right? And we want to say Q, and this is then going to be synchronous, all right? And we're going to put that in there for the time being. And then we'll say self.file URLs append, and then we can say URL.path here. All right, and we can pretty much copy that and paste it in here. And we just take node path this time instead. And let's put this to hit instead. This means that when we get this information, we are going to write to this synchronously, and it means that nothing can, or in serial. So it means that if something is already writing to it, the other one has to wait for it as well, which means that we know also, we want to know also that we are writing it to the, we need to know that we're already receiving on the main run loop, okay? So we're coming down here and receiving it on there. This is happening on the main run loop because we've received it here. We've received this on the main run loop as well. So this code is on the main run loop. Download image data comes here, and we tell it to receive on the main run loop here too. All right, so we should be on the correct run loop for this. Now let's come and create our list view, shall we? And let's just say list, and we want to say manager file URLs, and we're going to have to give this an ID, and we're just going to say self, and we'll say file name here, and now we'll say text and file name. All right, so we now need to initiate this download pages. All right, and we'll do this with inside of the task here, and we'll say manager download pages. All right, and when we run this, let's see what the preview shows us, and you'll see that we have loads of image data here. Right, let's just run it in the simulator too, and you can see here that we have lots of misses. Let's run it once again, and you can see that we have lots of hits. All right, let's just pump it up to 30 per page and see what this one says now. Okay, so we had some misses. All right, so we now know that we have 30 images if we run this once again, all being cached. All right, and just to show you that we actually have images here, we can come back down to the actual view itself, and rather than do a text here, we could just say image, and we're going to say UI image here for contents of file, and say file name, and if this is, then we can say image from UI image, else we can say file name. Now this should be no problem because we're only populating it once we have an image, right? Let's run this once again. We should see hit and loads of images here. Let's just say resizable and then scale to fit. All right, and as you can see here, we have all of these images and we have no errors whatsoever, right? So let's now have a look at maybe coming to another one here, and we'll say regular instead. And I'm guessing we're going to get some misses here. Okay, we still get the same information, right? So rather than doing rather than writing, where are we? Rather than writing it as the rather than the node path here with the photo ID, right? What we want to do really is say which type of image it is, right? And we'll then say regular, all right? This is then going to be a regular if it's there. And so let's run this once again. And we should have lots of misses here. And we run this again. We see lots of hits as well, all right? And if we now do full, for example, and let's just put full down here, you could have any naming convention you want. This is obviously going to take a little bit more time now, right? It missed the first one, and the next one's coming. Next one, we could optimize this even better, but that's not the point of it. But so as you can see here, it updates when it's want. You can see that we're not doing this totally in a good way, but we could add it to the main queue by using dispatch main async, which would make it a little bit better, right? Because we're freezing the main queue here, all right? So let's just actually do that. And let's say dispatch. We say here, yeah, we'll say dispatch queue main async here instead, all right? And do it here too, all right? We just wanted that to go, and then the hit can still be there. Let's just change the name of this to run it again, see whether that made it any one better. Okay, so we're still moving. We've still got movement here as it's downloading, all right? But we could definitely make this a lot better. Anyway, with that said, I hope that you've got something out this one video, all right? It's just all about how to learn to download stuff on the background, and then obviously have the images saved to disk once again. Now the ultimate game here, ultimate idea here was, okay, so after doing a little bit of debugging there, you can see over here when I download the full version, right? You can see here the memory is 400 megabytes, and as we scroll through, you can see the memory just getting more and more and more. So this is not a very efficient way, you know, it's in the gigabytes now, not a very efficient way to show these images, definitely in a list view, all right? We want to find a way to, you know, that's what the whole point you have thumbs are for. So let's just go back to say thumb and run this once again. and you get all the misses. And you can see here, this just flicks through nice. Whoops. This flicks through nice and easily, no problem whatsoever, because it doesn't have to load gigabytes worth of information into the memory. All right, so this is more efficient. If we were to then tap on a single image, then this would be the time to load then the full version if required. All right, or if someone says to display in high quality, then have a button to say display in high quality to download that image then too. With that said, I hope that you got something out of this one video. I was looking at making this video in a different way, but the complexity level for a short video, it grew too much. So I had to rethink about how to keep it as simple as possible, but also as informative as possible. Let's just see what the content view shows now. There we go. All right. Yeah, I was just trying to find a way that we can make this as simple as possible. This dispatch queue main, I'd have to debug. I don't believe, because we're on the run loop already, I don't think we actually need that, because yeah, the publisher, it's going to happen on the publisher is being updated, and that should be written to on the main thread as well. All right, so anyway, I debug myself maybe for another video. With that said, thank you very much for watching. If you did like this video, or you did get something out this one video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and if you've got any questions, feedback, concerns, or recommendations of how to do the video better, then feel free to start a conversation in the comment section down below. With that said, thank you very much for watching. My name's David Thorne, and I'll see you in... Oh, I just want to apologise for maybe some of the editing, because I've had to edit some stuff out for sure, even though I haven't edited it yet. But just to apologise if I've had to cut some stuff out. With that said, thanks very much. Ciao, ciao. Goodbye.